Hey everyone, welcome back to the MHP Show podcast. I am your host, Derek Vickers, and on the MHP Show, we are talking about mobile home parks, anything and everything about mobile home parks and operations, stuff that happens, raising money. We're talking about all that. And so we got a new episode today, and it's going to be a great episode because I've thought about some things here recently and how we do things and have had done things in the past and how we're looking at due diligence now. And, when you have a lot of deals under contract, you have to work through a lot of different things. And I need to adjust this here. And it can get a little confusing. So I'm going to talk and get into that, like how we're overcomplicating due diligence, right? I mean, there is a lot to it, but we don't want to fully overcomplicate it. Before I get into that, Victory Capital, we're expanding. We're building a massive affordable housing platform. And so if you want to be a part of that, and you have money sitting on the sidelines, your cash in the bank is getting killed by inflation, right? If you keep waiting and you keep waiting and you keep waiting, like that money is getting less and less. It's getting less of an ability to actually purchase, right? And if you're like, well, I hear people all the time, well, I'm going to do my own deal. Dude, you've been looking for your own deal for 4 or 5 years and you haven't pulled the trigger. Get your money into an investment, right? And then get your money multiplying, because if you just sit there and waiting for the in place 12 cap, tenant owned home park with curbs and sidewalks and brand new homes, you ain't going to find it, right? So look, invest with us at Victory Capital. Like we've done this. I've gritted my teeth and managed the first few properties I had completely by myself. No on-site property manager. I was the on-site property manager, so I know how to operate these things. I made a lot of mistakes and fixed those things. And so I'm not a new guy. And so I have gone through some things that actually has given me the ability and the confidence to actually operate these things, better. And look, if you look at the numbers, like real estate will outperform the stock market. Like it just will. And especially this asset class with the stability of it, with the instability in the world today, like this asset class, it skates below that because it is affordable housing and people always need a cheap, clean and safe place to live. So look, if you want to learn more about what we're doing at Victory Capital, you can go to victorycapital.com. You can email us at invest@victorycapital.com. That's VICKTORY.com. And we'd love to chat with you. You can chat with someone on our team, or you can chat with myself. And, we'd love to at least let you dip your toe in and let us show you what we can do. Because look, I think we've got another 5 to 10 years to buy these assets. And then, everybody's going to be buying from everybody else. There'll still be small deals out there, I'm sure. But it's getting more and more consolidated. So we want to go out and grab as much as we can right now. Okay, so again, you can reach out to me on social media if you want to set up a call. Would love to chat with you. Check us out at victorycapital.com. Now let's get into it. I've done enough and looked at enough of these deals. This episode, we're going to talk about overcomplicating due diligence and really what you need to look at. Because I'm looking and I remember, oh my God, I'm bragging. I have a 300-point due diligence list. Like it's great. Like it's cool. And like, I went on, you go on and you look at this list and I'm criticizing my own list, right? And I actually got my list and started my list from someone else in the beginning. And, I looked at it and I'm like, oh my God, yeah, this is great. This is a lot of stuff. But once you zoom out and you do these things, right? We freaking overcomplicate this because you basically think everything is the same and has the same importance as the other things. And because I talked about this on a post the other day, I mentioned this and how you keep yourself organized when you have so many deals under contract. And one of them was like, hey, orders of importance, right? Not everything is as important as the other thing. And somebody commented, I'm like, wow, nobody probably thinks about this data. And so I've actually learned and read some things and actually learned this data on data evaluation and how to evaluate the order of importance, because not everything is of the same importance, right? And so I'm going to talk about how you can simplify your due diligence process by giving you examples of how I look at this and how you can identify what you need to do in due diligence, and looking at what is most important to do, right? Because once you do enough deals, like we just backed out on a deal, right? And it was because of one thing, and it was the one thing that I knew was going to be the variable when we went in, the electrical, right? And I've done enough of these deals. I'm going in and I'm like, hey, the electrical is the make or break point here, right? So what did we do in the beginning first? Like we inspected the electrical because that was going to be the make break point. Now, order of importance is like how you start at this, because like once you have your market identified and you have the parks identified and like that, like you all that due diligence is gone. Like you don't have to do that anymore because you know the market. So how am I going to explain this to you like simply? I'm just going to give you an example here of how I do this. So like when we get a deal, like we look at the flood zone. Flood zone's a non-starter. I'm buying in Florida. I don't want to be in a freaking flood zone. Right? I don't. I don't. So that's it. If it's in a flood zone, boom, it's out. Right? I'm not going to go look at I'm not going to put the deal under contract and then check if it's in a flood zone. Or I'm not going to put the deal under contract, and just because my due diligence list says to check this first, I'm going to pay to have someone go look at the electric before we pull the flood information. Like it's just not going to happen, right? That would be out of sequence, right? So for me, it's like, hey, flood zone, non-starter, bang, done. Oh yeah, as soon as we get the deal under contract, we're getting the zoning verification letter. Because if the zoning's messed up, done. I don't need to check anything else. Right? And so now the next thing I'm going to check when I go in, and let me just look at this on the, let's see. So I'm going to pull up the due diligence checklist here and the template, and then I'm just going to look at this and show this as how this can confuse you, because there's a lot of things that people talk about, like these points and things. But if you go into a deal, like this deal, that another deal that we have under contract now, bang, it wasn't in the flood zone. Boom, the zoning verification was fine, right? It was zoned mobile home parks. It was zoned for mobile homes. Now the deal killers there we had a deal one time that was actually an RV park that they put mobile homes in, and it was zoned for RV. So like, yeah, it's fine until it's not. So that didn't make me very comfortable with that deal. Now, back to this deal that I'm talking about now. We check the zoning, it's fine. Now it's a well and septic deal, right? The electric is direct build. So I'm not that worried about the electric. It's still going to get inspected. The well can be a variable, right? The septic is for sure going to be a variable. So what are the first two things I'm going to do? I'm going to send the well contractor out there and the septic contractor, because if those systems are jacked up and they can't be fixed, boom, I'm done. I don't need to do anything else. That's it. I'm out. Right? So I think when we overcomplicate this and we're looking at thousands of things and how the wires are set and all this stuff, like you can simplify this down. It's not that complicated of a process. Right? This deal, another deal that we have under contract now, I'm going into it. It was city water and septic. The electric is direct billed to the tenants. It's not master metered electric. And I go in and I'm like, yep, the septic is going to be the variable here. So what do? We check the septic, and boom, the septic's a disaster. Now we're seeing if like it's been a little back and forth because of some other things, but now we're seeing if the septic can be fixed in a reasonable manner for us to still close this deal, right? But my like point in this here is like there's stuff that obviously takes precedent over the other things, right? And I hope that helps, right? Because you're not gonna, you're not gonna get a paving quote on the roads in the beginning because it's just like we're not gonna not close a deal for paving roads because we go in and pave roads, right? Like we're not gonna not close a deal because of tree work. Like we're just not, right? We're not gonna not close a deal because of um I don't know, maybe there's a part of the sewer line that needs to be replaced, like a 10-foot area that's messed up. Meh. There's a few electric boxes that need to be you need new poles on a few lots. It's not going to kill a deal. We may ask for a discount because of that, but it's not going to kill a deal. So the point is like you got to know what your deal killers are, and you need to look for the deal killers first. If you know it's going to be okay, check flood zone, zoning, hey, check septic, well, electric, boom. Because any of those things come up as a deal killer, you're good. Well, or if they come up as a deal killer, you're out. And after you finish your deal killer list, right? Which it's going to be flood zone, zoning, utilities for me, and then it's going to be like, hey, who owns these homes in the park? Well, this probably comes, closer to the beginning because this is another non-starter if somebody else owns all the homes in the park and they're just renting all the homes. That's going to be up there on the priority list too. But if all that checks out, I'm more than likely going to buy this. Now I can go through and do all my other stuff and go through everything else and really learn more about the park. But I like to do that because I'm not going to spend money on an electrical inspection if I already know the septic is up, right? Because you can get crushed in due diligence money, right? Like you don't want to spend like you need to spend money to inspect the park, but if you're trying to go down and be smart about this, I'm just saying, look at your deal killers first, right? And then obviously we have, a list of questions that you can ask here. Let's just pull this up here. And it's beyond me why this isn't pulling up right now. Let's see. And if you guys want the due diligence checklist, you can get it and you'll see what I'm talking about. I need to reformulate this thing because there's a lot of stuff in here that actually you find out that is, yes, it is important to know. And I like knowing some of this stuff, but spending a lot of time on it, and was what I'm saying in the beginning of due diligence, is probably not the best use of your time because you need to be looking at the deal killers first. And of course, this is funny. Whenever you want to get on something on here, it's slowing down for me, baby. It's slowing down. Yeah, I'd love to know. Okay. What is this thing? Oh my goodness. I love the all these, dual verification things, but when I get on this, I do use a different system here for the podcast. And sometimes it makes me verify 100 different ways, but it's fine. Okay. Yeah, so like, a lot of this is my due diligence list here. I mean, I think it can be better organized. And again, I'm criticizing myself because, I'm talking about checking the financials and all this stuff first. And yeah, you can do that like simultaneously. But like you need to know if the infrastructure is a disaster so you don't waste a bunch of time. Right? Hey, let's look at this deal. We know the septic is going to be the thing here that could blow it up, right? Let's look at that first. Right? We got another deal under contract that it's city water and city sewer. It's all park owned units. What is going to be the variable here? It's direct build electric. What is going to be the variable here? Okay, I know it's going to be the sewer line. So what the hell do you think we're going to do first? We're going to go check the sewer lines first, right? If you got a city water and city sewer deal like that, and there's a lift station, that could be a variable, right? So you're going to check the lift station and the sewer lines first. You see what I'm saying and how this makes sense? Yes, there could be problems elsewhere, but that is where I'm guessing that it's not even necessarily a guess, like when you're going into these things. The park that we just backed out on, it was city water and city sewer and master meter electric. This isn't rocket science. Where do you think the variable is going to be in this park? The master meter electric. And that's exactly where it was. So we went in, we checked that, and we're like, we did a bunch of other stuff too, but that was the deal killer, obviously. Right. So knowing this business and knowing your deal killers, I think can make this process a lot easier for you. Because you know what to look for first. For example, we closed the deal in Lakeland, 50 units. It was well and wastewater treatment plant, direct build electric. Where is the variable in this deal? Right? It was fine in the flood zone. The zoning, it wasn't in the flood zone. The zoning was fine. Where's the variable in this deal? Wastewater plant and the well. So what are we going to do? Get checked first, the wastewater plant and the well. Because if it would have came back and like, oh my God, the capacity's all messed up, right? Then we're like, okay, we're going to pass if it's going to be 700 grand to fix this, or we're going to ask for $1 million discount on the deal, which we're probably not going to get. Now, the other thing you can do with a wastewater plant when you're looking at this, you can get the documents from the Department of Environmental Protection and check the flows, right? And if the flows are just running massively high every month, right? So that there's a problem here even before the inspection happens, and you can let the inspector go out and take a look at that, but he's probably going to look at that anyways when he goes in, right? So like if any of you guys have been sent my due diligence list, I mean there's a bunch of things on here, right? And it can be overwhelming to look at. But like I'm just trying to simplify this down, because when you get bunches and bunches of deals under contract, like you can find out pretty quickly if you're going to move forward with this deal or not, and then you can get more intricate in there. And then there may be some other things that you find, right? So I just wanted to share that, because sometimes I get a bunch of deals under contract and my head starts to spin. And we use third-party due diligence on this stuff sometimes, right? Depending on the park. It's expensive to do so, but they do a great job. But look, you just have to, I just think this is such an important thing that people don't talk about, is that you can actually do this pretty simply and figure out if any of your deal killers exist in the beginning, because we all know what the deal killers are on these parks. It's infrastructure. It's zoning craziness. It's it's the guy who owns multiple homes, or the guy who owns the whole park that's not the owner. He just owns the trailers and rents them in the park. All right, so I wouldn't do that. Once you get good at this too, like once you get good at this, you'll be able to walk through a park, or you can actually go through the park on Google, really, and you can put together your CapEx budget, especially if you know what stuff costs. It's pretty easy to do that. And I can always strike pretty close to what the quote's going to be, but I always try to overestimate the CapEx, because I want to bring the money to do that. You guys hear me talk about that all the time, and I got to tell you, like, if anytime I hear anybody say, yeah, we're going to do the CapEx and stuff with the cash flow, don't do that, man. Don't do that. Right. You need to come, because if you're going to start paying distributions, you need to bring the money. You need to bring the money to pay. We always bring a little bit of extra money on the utilities for additional CapEx in case it happens, so we don't have to stop distributions. Because if I'm trying to pay everything through cash flow on some of these things, and we have a $50,000 issue, well, there goes your cash flow. and like maybe there goes even more cash flow if it's a smaller park, right? So we like to bring money to to have on hand to fix these things, right? Um, okay. So closing out the show today, I just had like an idea. I'm like, man, that would be something good to teach people to talk to people about, because it's something I've realized recently as we're trying to do more due diligence and do the right get the proper inspections done quickly. What is the order of importance? Like, hey, what's going to actually take this deal out that we're going to be like, oh hell no, and I'm going to go do those things first, right? I'm going to go do those things first because I don't want to wait and do my inspection that may end up killing the deal after I've spent money on other things going in there. And people and time, like you spent a lot of time looking at this, and if you buy a park with master meter electric and you've spent all this time on getting all this other stuff and you haven't even checked the electric yet, and then you go get the electric inspection, you're like, oh my god, it's $1 million, we can't buy this deal now, then you've wasted time. Like, I'd rather get it, find out, no, back out, ask for a discount, or move on, right? Or move on. All right. So thank you guys for joining the MHP show today. I appreciate it. Look, if you want to be a guest and come on the show, just shoot me an email or shoot me a message. My team will pick it up. We'll love to get you on. And if you guys like the show, let me know. If there's anything you want me to go over, let me know. I want to start doing my Q&As again on Fridays for a half hour. So be on the lookout. We're trying to get that set up within the next week or so, but it's it's not as easy as you think, but we'll get that set up because I enjoy doing that with people. If you want to invest, you want to talk to me about Victory Capital and what we're doing. Fund 1 is rolling along right now. We've got some other deals that we're working on closing. And look, if there's anything you need or if you have any questions, just shoot me a message. And again, check us out at victorycapital.com. Go to YouTube, iTunes, like, subscribe. Show me some love, man. Show me some love, or hate too, because for some reason, when you start putting out stuff, you get some hate too. But it's all good. It's all good. Okay, so we'll see you guys next week. Peace.